has school career and you care a lot about your son and
All right, everyone, we're going to give it about another minute and a half, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today?
Wonderful.
Excellent. Excellent.
Good morning, Joe.
Wanted to welcome everyone to another week of quarantine. Today is Monday. It seems like this is the only day that I know what day it is. It's Monday. It's like I spend the weekend doing stuff around the house. I was in the pool. I was mowing the lawn. And now I'm back at Zoom. That's when I know it's Monday. Right? So tell me, I want to hear a couple things around the room. Tell me about something that you're grateful for. Tell me about something that you're grateful for right now.
I'm definitely grateful for our health. Yeah, absolutely. Health. This class, connecting with people. I'm very grateful for that because if not, I would have been already going crazy.
Very good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Hi, Lauren. How are you? Welcome back.
Hi.
You have your voice back.
You should be grateful for your health because last week not healthy and it was very frustrating.
But you're feeling better. You got your voice back. Glad to see.
Yeah. I'm here.
Glad to see and glad to hear you.
Yeah. Awesome. And grateful for my house. I bought a house last year, so I've become very grateful for it because I keep thinking if I was in my old tiny apartment that I hated, I'd be going crazy.
Yeah.
So I just, every day that I'm stuck in the house, I think, no, I'm grateful for it because if I didn't have it, I'd be going crazy and, you know, the things you prayed for before. Already on now, so.
Awesome. During quarantine, we all realized that our house is too small. All right?
Yeah.
We all realized that our house is too small, so.
Yep.
Excellent. What
like
else?
I need a bigger refrigerator. I need a bigger pool. I need a bigger.
Yes. Excellent. What else are we grateful for?
We're having a good morning, John. We're having a great weather.
Yep.
And hoping that, we are almost, we cannot say time-wise, but we are going through this. We are surviving. Again, it's already said that we are in good health because we are here connecting to each other, being safe. And the hope is that this will pass and we'll make it.
Absolutely. That's awesome. I'll tell you one of the things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for every one of you guys. I really am. I'm grateful for, you guys showing up every morning, playing at a high level. Between Spark and Elementals and productivity coaching, it's really helping me to stay on my A game. All right. It's helped me to keep my saw, my axe sharp so that when I do have to that when I show up here, I'm showing up at a high level for you guys. So I'm really grateful for you guys for showing up. Thank you so much for being here with us every morning. So really appreciate that. Excellent. So today's class is about making and receiving offers. So it's funny, you'll hear me say several times that this is one of my favorite classes. And making and receiving offers, the negotiating part, that is absolutely my favorite part about this entire business. All right. Listing appointment presentations are very important. Buyers consultations are very important. However, being able to truly negotiate and write and make and receive offers on behalf of your client, knowing what to expect and what not to accept, that's really what's going to make you help set you apart from your competition. So I love making offers. I love receiving offers. That means business is happening. Okay. So there's a lot to digest in this class. One of the things we're not going to be speaking about is about negotiating. Negotiating is going to be on tomorrow's call. However, today is going to be about preparing to make an offer, actually writing an offer. How do you actually present the offer? I'll share some best practices. I'll share some best practices that I have as well. And I see Alan's here. His video's not working. Well, you're here with us in spirit, Alan. Awesome. All right. And also, when you have a listing and you receive offers, how do you receive them and how do you counter back? It's all part of the negotiation. I think today's class and tomorrow's class will go hand in hand. All right. But today's all about making and receiving offers. All right. So we've seen this before, what successful agents do every day. This is really specifically about showing buyers homes and negotiating the contracts. Like I said, negotiating is the class tomorrow is all about negotiating. But this one's going to go hand in hand with, oh, Alan's video is working. Welcome. Welcome. So these are the things that we're going to speak about today. We're going to talk about the offer process. Good morning, Jen. Good morning, everyone else. We're going to talk about the offer process, what that looks like, writing an offer, receiving an offer. We're going to talk about preparing an offer, how to prepare it, how to write it, how to present the offer. Eddie, we don't do this that much anymore right now, but you probably remember the days of actually going and presenting the offers in your client's living room to them, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, having to sit down and it was actually a presentation, why you should accept this client's offer and so forth. The
listing agent would invite you with the seller's approval. You would go to the seller's home, sit down, chit chat, and then he will say, okay, now you could present your offer.
So you're presenting the offer directly to the sellers and to the listing
while he's there, while they're there. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad we don't have to do that anymore. I'm glad we don't have to do that anymore. But we'll talk about the best way to present that, and we'll share some best practices with that. When you receive an offer, whether it's a great offer or if it's too low, or you want to renegotiate some of those terms, how do you respond to an offer? We'll talk about that as well. And then we'll, as always, we'll wrap it up with some recaps and some ahas. All right, awesome. So once the buyer has found the perfect home, the seller's gonna start looking forward to concluding the sale of their home. This is where all the fun and all the magic begins. All right, so when a buyer makes an offer, the seller can respond in one of three ways. They can either accept the offer, and that's gonna be awesome. And if they do accept the offer, we can begin contract close. They can reject the offer altogether. And if they reject the offer, the buyer agent contacts the listing agent to learn more about why that offer was rejected. Don't always assume that no means no. No just might mean I didn't like that offer, and find out what happens. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. And so another thing that can happen is they can counter the offer. And anytime I get a counter, I love it because now we're going into negotiation phase. I had a conversation with an agent this weekend who said that she doesn't feel very strong about her negotiation skills. Okay. And when I see it, someone say they're not strong in their negotiation skills, that's all going to come in practice, right? That's going to come in practice and putting yourself in the buyer's shoes, in the seller's shoes, and trying to come up with a way that's a win-win. Okay, but that's all going to come with practice. The negotiation is the exciting part. That's my favorite part of doing the transaction. Aside from getting the check, the negotiation is my other favorite part of the transaction. So what's really awesome is
Will this class help us feel that this is going to be our favorite part of the process?
I hope so.
My least favorite part.
I hope so. Hopefully,
When a buyer says to you, "I want to make an offer," you should be ecstatic.
Yeah.
It's the back and forth part that I don't like.
But you know what? And Mike's I'm sure is gonna be teaching when he's teaching negotiations tomorrow. The one of the things that really helped me with my negotiation skills, speaking of the devil appears, right? Mm-hmm. One of the things that really helps me in negotiation was I remove myself from the decision making. I'm not the one buying the home. I'm not the one purchasing a home. So I become literally just the middleman. Someone gives me a stupid offer, I turn around and I'm like, let me go ahead and discuss it with my client. All right. We feel, because we watch Millionaire Real Estate Agent and not Millionaire Real Estate Agent, $1 Million Listing and all those things. And we see those that everyone doing those on the spot negotiations. That's not real. Okay. That's not real. A lot of the time, the best negotiation tactic is just buying some time. All right. Not answering. Saying, let me see what I could do. You don't have to make a decision right then and there on the spot. All right.
I mean, I guess we'll get into it more when he teaches his class tomorrow, but I just feel like when I do present an offer to my clients, I just want to make sure that they always look to me to guide them, right? Well, would you accept that? Or what would you offer next? And what I would do and what they would do are two completely different things. I mean, sometimes I would just accept the offer.
All right. And, there's actually a script. There's actually a script that we'll be coming across in a little bit that kind of talks about when you receive a low offer or when your client wants to make a low offer. And personally, I tell my clients, my sellers, never to reject an offer. All right. To me, an offer, regardless of how poor that offer is, I say, let's counter back. All right. Because just talking about offers isn't going to get us anywhere closer to a sale. All right. Whereas once I get an offer, even if it's a really crappy offer, it's an offer and that's one step closer to getting closed. So let's counter back and keep trying to make something happen. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I mean, 10 showings and no offer and 10 showings and 5 offers. I'll take the 5 offers, even if they are starting at low points.
Yeah.
Well, think about the buyers that you worked with also, John. How many times have those buyers asked you to put in ridiculously low offers? And, we try to kind of help them and coach them into making an offer that makes sense. And sometimes they just are unwilling. Yep. And so we set up our sellers and have this discussion as we get the home ready and it goes on the market. And then we let them know ahead of time, this is what I've seen, right? And we're also coaching them because a lot of times our sellers are our buyers. So when we coach them about offers they'll receive, we coach them about how to make a good offer. And that way, when it's time for them to buy their house, they remember what we said and they remember this feeling, right? And let them know that sometimes the agent isn't going to coach that buyer, right? And they're going to let them make that offer that's $30,000 below the market. Mm-hmm. And because they didn't have a good agent or a coach to help them along, right? We're going to get more information about their offer and see if this is an offer that we can actually work with and get a good offer from by renegotiating that and by countering that offer. Yeah. So it serves two purposes. It allows you to negotiate that offer, and it also sets them up from when it's time for them to make an offer on a home.
Absolutely. Let me ask this. So when a buyer finds a home that they really like, or a seller starts receiving offers, talk to me. What emotions do you think that the clients are feeling? What emotions do you think they're going through at that time? And trust me, there's a lot of them. All right. But tell me what some of the emotions that you think the clients, the buyers or sellers are feeling when they're ready to make an offer, they start receiving offers.
I think first they're nervous. Are they going to get the best? You know, are they going to lose money? You know, that kind of thing. Because they're trusting their most valuable assets to us. So they want to make sure that they're not, I guess, losing too much, or was it worth it? You know, Alice is like putting all the feelings out there. You know, so, you know, anxiety, you know, you do feel anxious, like, oh my God, am I going to get the best offer? Did I do the right thing to let go of my home? You know, it's a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, Alan wrote a bunch of stuff, but I think the biggest thing that we don't think about is they're thinking, oh my God, we're actually doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I think
sometimes they become real.
I think sometimes their feeling is confused. Even if they have a number in their mind, they're still so on the fence and confused, and they just keep looking to you like, tell me the magical answer. Is this the right number that I should be asking, or is this the right number I should, you know, that we should be accepting?
Mm-hmm.
And also what Mike says, are they ready to let go? Because that, you know, they put their house on sale, but are they ready to make, you know, to enter a new chapter in their life, you know? So that's pretty emotional right there, especially investing your time, making it a home, you know, memories. So that's tough.
I've had clients, and I'm sure some of you guys have had experience have had this happen to them as well. I've had listings where they're super excited and so forth, and because we're pricing and we're advertising, we're marketing it properly, we get offers right away. And then when those offers come in, like Alan says, do we really want to do this? The seller kind of panics, and they kind of like, oh my God, I didn't think this was going to happen so quickly. And I've actually had clients turn around and say, I didn't think this was going to happen so quick. I'm not ready, and maybe I don't want to sell right now. And then I've had them take the property off the market, and it's like, you got to be kidding me. You know?
That happened to me with the buyer. She put in an offer. They accepted it. They didn't counter at all. And she was like, there's something wrong. And she walked away.
Yeah.
Like she just could not. And we're still looking for another house for her. She's driving me crazy.
One of my own houses I listed, but selling agent was somebody else. But she was not representing the buyer. She was representing me. So when I accepted the offer, she says, I'm not going to tell her you accepted. I'm still going to counter 5,000 more because she, you know, I don't want her to take it for granted that you gave it up too fast.
And, you know, I tell my sellers also, you know, usually some of our first offers are usually some of our best offers. All right. So don't look a gift horse in the mouth. An offer is an offer. We're going to negotiate an offer, you know, but you guys are, every one of you guys that said an emotion is absolutely correct. There's so much emotion going on, and we know logic makes us think, but emotion makes us act. All right. And, you know, you have emotions are running hot with both parties. They're excited. They're happy. There's joy. There's anxiety. Sometimes there's impatience. Sometimes, I mean, there's frustration. There's, you know, you said pain, anxiety. Do we really want to do this? There's so many emotions that's there. And something to really remember is that our clients are looking to us to guide them through all those emotions. All right. And if we're acting as a fiduciary to our clients, which we all should be acting as, we need to help keep their emotions in check. And sometimes that just means just reassuring them the next step and what's going to happen next. Okay. So remember, they're looking to us for guidance. They're looking to us for leadership, and we need to act as a leader, you know, for our clients throughout the entire transaction.
It may also depend on how many offers a buyer receives on the first weeks of the listing.
I'm sorry?
Does it also has to do with how many offers they will receive on the first weeks of the listing of the property?
Well, yeah, that, like I said, you know, I've had, you know, one of the other emotions I get is impatience. Okay. So I've had, homes that went on the market on Thursday, and by Saturday, my clients are saying, "Hey, how come we're not receiving any offers?" Well, because we just went on the market. We're still brand new. All right. And then sometimes they also panic, like I said, when they do have 15 offers come in at the same time. Then they start asking themselves, did we price it too low? Should we have priced it higher? Maybe we can renegotiate. So, I always tell my clients that market value is the price that a seller is willing to sell for and a buyer is willing to pay for the house. And if you're okay with that number, we're not going to try to squeeze out every drop of blood out of a stone. All right. But if you're okay with that number and the buyer's willing to pay for that number, that's market value. That's how much your house is worth. All right. That's how much your house is worth. So since there are so many emotions going on with our clients, one of the things I strongly suggest is that we communicate everything with our clients. Everything that comes up. We received an offer, we're countering an offer, we haven't received an offer or anything like that. Communicate everything with our clients. And if you go into Command and actually through the new consumer app and you set up your buyer and your seller guides, they'll be able to, your clients will be able to log into the KW app, see where they are in the transaction, which is great because they're getting the on-demand information. However, you still want to make sure you're communicating, if not over communicating with your clients. Remember, this is their, like Griselda said earlier, chances are this is their biggest asset and they're trusting you with this asset. So you want to make sure you're communicating with them every step of the way. Make it as important to you as it is to them. Excellent. So let's talk about preparing the offer. Anytime you're preparing an offer, if you a little bit of preparation will go a long way in making an offer. One of the things that drives me absolutely crazy is when I receive an offer that I can tell that the other party didn't do their homework on the property at all. All right, it drives me crazy. So, we actually have let me open this up actually. Okay, you guys can see this, right? Checklist to prepare an offer. All right, perfect. So one of the things, anytime I'm about to write an offer, and for now we'll start as if we're talking about the buyer side. Anytime I write an offer, and I've written offers, very quickly on the hood of my car before, right? I've done it on my iPad. I've written offers on my phone, and it's probably always a good idea in your car, in your briefcase, your book bag, whatever it is you have, to keep a couple of blank contracts just in case someone wants to write an offer right then and there. You can just pull out a piece of paper and do it. But if I have the opportunity to prepare an offer properly, I'm making sure I have all my ducks in a row. I'm doing all my homework so that I have everything. I'm not just sending in an offer itself. I'm sending an offer with comps. I'm sending a pre-approval letter or a desktop underwriter report from the lender. I'm doing a CMA. I was actually surprised to find out recently that a lot of agents do not do a CMA for their buyers when they're writing an offer on a home. And that kind of really threw me back. I was like, why wouldn't you? Jen's asking now, will I share the checklist with us? Yes, I'm going to go ahead and share this in a couple moments. I'll go ahead and put this into the chat box. I'll go ahead and put all that stuff in the chat box for you. But I was really surprised to see people not write an offer. They say the home is at $250. Let's just arbitrarily write an offer for $240. And that kind of threw me back. I always say do a CMA on the property so that you're making a realistic, reasonable offer based on actual numbers, not just your hunch. Okay, so this checklist is going to be in the Ignite 2.0 toolkit. I'm going to go ahead and attach the link here in a moment. But they have a couple checklists that they put in here. This is a checklist to prepare an offer. You're going to attach a buyer's pre-approval letter. Okay. Chances are, if you know that your client has how do I say this nicely? Financing issues, right? Where they're like about almost tapped out. One of the things I would rather do is before I submit the offer, I might even call the lender and have them run a desktop underwriter report, just to make sure that they can truly afford not just the house, but they can truly afford this property. Okay. If you're using Supreme, all you got to do is just call Supreme Lending and just say, hey, this is the property that we're looking at. This is the price we want to do. This is how much the homeowner association is. She'll run the numbers, not just a generic, hey, you're pre-approved for $300,000. It's going to be you're pre-approved for this particular house. Okay. And just doing that can go a long way. So make sure you're speaking with the lender. We talked about doing a comparative market analysis. Review the tax records. All right.
John, can I ask, you're doing the CMA, but you're just doing that to decide what you're offering and make sure you're offering the right thing, but
Yeah.
you're not including that in the offer, right? You're not
Correct.
attaching that.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm not attaching it. That's for me and my client. All right. But yeah, I want to see if, all right. So we know that 70% of the homes that's listed on the MLS is overpriced. All right. We know that most of the homes that's listed on the MLS are overpriced. And if a buyer is looking at one of our listings, we know that they're priced right. So that's why I don't want to always assume that every home is overpriced. I want to make sure I'm doing a CMA so I can make an offer based off of market value, not based off of what they're asking for. I don't care if someone says their house is 500, they're asking 500,000. If the CMAs only support a price of 430, guess what? They're getting an offer based off of the market value, not just so and so. But yes, you're right, Lauren. That's just for our information only. I'm not sharing that. All right. Ask questions of the listing agent to find out what's important. I'm going to skip that because I'm going to go back to that. That's I love doing that part. All right. Inquire about the activity on the property. So I love calling the listing agent and just saying, hey, what kind of activity you guys had? You know, are there any other competing offers? Just before I even send her anything. This is all in their preparation phase. Now I want to know how much, who am I competing with? How much am I competing? I like to always ask for a seller's disclosure in advance. Sometimes if you go into the MLS, they'll have it as an attachment up in the top. So that way your client will know, you know, they can make an educated decision on that offer price that they're doing. And we said find out if there's been any other offers. Okay. Ask questions of the listing agent to discover what's important to the seller. That is probably, to me, I found has been one of the most important questions I could ask, is I'll call the listing agent. Hey, just want to let you know I'm about to write an offer and so forth, or very interested in the property. Tell me about your seller. Why are they selling? All right. You'll be surprised how much agents will actually start to sing. They will sing. They will take their cards and show you everything that they have in their hand. They're going to say, well, honestly, they're selling because it's a divorcing couple. They're ready to do something different. You know, it's the husband and the wife died. It's now in a family trust, and they just want to get rid of the property. All right. All these things that they tell you when you ask them, and you have to ask, but all these things that you tell them, or they tell you, that's all knowledge, right? He said, my mom calls it a blabbermouth. It's so true. It's so true. I love asking, why is the client selling? Why are you selling? And sometimes people will just sing. They will just talk. Now, if they ask any of us, why are they selling? Because they chose to sell their home. All right. I love asking questions of the other agent because I'm going to find out so much information. I'm going to find out so much information about them. And then if anyone ever calls on my listing, I am completely tight-lipped. I don't say anything. Okay. Another thing I like to do is say, hey, you know what? I might just call the listing agent and say, hey, Eddie, we're planning on making an offer. I don't want to waste your time. I want to make an offer that's going to get accepted. What is your client looking for? What do I have to do in order to get an offer accepted? All right. They may actually tell you, honestly, it's not about the price. We're looking to close in 30 days. All right. A lot of times, if you just call and just ask them, what are they looking for? All right. They'll tell you. Sometimes they're going to say, look, honestly, they need to net $250,000. All right. They'll turn around and say, we're listed at 400. Honestly, they'll probably accept 380. And I'm just like, why are you talking? Right. But that's the way we can find out what they're actually looking for. Right. Find out what's important to the other party. I actually did a deal with Alan's mom last year. All right. And I called her last year, I mean a couple months ago. And I called her and I asked her to, what's your client looking for? And this particular client, she didn't have blabbermouth, Ellen, don't worry. She didn't lay out too many cards on the table. But her particular client had deals that have already fallen through at the very last second. So to her, it wasn't about the price. It was more about the security, knowing that this deal is going to close, and she wanted to close quickly. So in my offer, I could have been a little bit more aggressive on the price. However, I put in other contingencies in the contract, like a shorter inspection period, a second deposit, shorter closing time, all right, a shorter loan approval time. I put in all these other contingencies. That way, that deal was better for the client. Now, when we did go under contract with that property, I asked Alan's mom. I asked her, awesome agent, awesome transaction, by the way. But I had asked her, what other offers did you have on the table? And she told me there were other offers that were higher priced. Right, 4 other offers that were higher priced. But this one was the best because it met what her client was looking for. They wanted security. They wanted to know it was going to close quickly, and that if it went under contract, it wasn't actually going to close. So a lot of the time when you're preparing an offer, it's just a matter of just asking a question, right? Reaching out to the other party and just asking a question. When you build a rapport with the listing agent, you're going to get information, good information, not so good information. If it fits with me, they're still going to get a little bit tight-lipped, right? However, remember, we're still acting as a fiduciary for a client. So if someone calls me and says, John, what's important? What do we need to do in order to get the house sold or to get the offer accepted? And I know my client wants to be out of this house in 30 days. I'm going to say we want a very fast closing. All right. We want a quick closing. Otherwise, if the client is just like, I'm not in a rush, like they always say, I'm not in a rush. If they say, what do we need to make a deal close? I'm going to say, send me your highest and best. Send me your highest and best. So what does that look like? You tell me, send me your highest and best. All right. I remain very, very tight-lipped. However, build a rapport with the other party, ask questions, try to find out their motivation. All right. So I'm gonna send you guys this checklist, and we actually have a couple checklists in here that I'm gonna send to you guys. As well. All right. So that's the checklist for preparing to write an offer. Now let's talk about writing an offer, what that actually looks like. And we're not going to go into command or anything like that, but all of our offers are going to be written through command, through DocuSign, and so forth. And I strongly encourage, I'm going to go over here. I strongly encourage everyone to go to YouTube and or attend one of the tech trainings on writing offers in command, so you can actually learn the specifics of how to do that. Okay. Nope, the microphone isn't working. Oh, you said your mom's there. She's listening in. Welcome. Awesome. Excellent. So, okay. So again, sorry. So again, I want you to go to YouTube. Just put in a search for writing offers through command. You'll be able to see exactly how to do that. Command has made it everything seamless, everything all in one. And if you do it through DocuSign, you don't have to sit there in their living room, like Eddie was saying earlier, and have them hand present and do the signature. They can just go ahead and electronically sign it right there. All right. So now that we're gonna, there's another checklist on how to write the offer. Okay. Once we already did all the preparation and everything like that, Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, I don't like this thing. Kind of got a little bit weird over here on this side. All right, so part of the checklist of writing an offer, it's not only about the price. The price is a big thing, but it's not all about the price. This is what I was trying to pull up. Checklist to write an offer. So the price is just one part of the negotiation. Okay, speak with your buyers once you do the CMA. Speak with them and ask them. Market value is about 300. What would you like to write an offer at? Okay, ask them where they want to, and help them. Remember, you got to coach your client as well to make the best offer. Okay, if you do get the seller's disclosure in advance, all right, I suggest that you review it and actually go over the seller's disclosure with the client so that they make an educated decision on writing a home that just had water damage, or if there was mold, or there were termites or whatever. Let them know the information that you found out through the seller's disclosure. You could also include the conveyances. See what attaches with what's going to stay with the property. For some reason, anytime you walk into a house that has a piano, people always ask, is the piano included? Almost every time. Every time I've walked in a house that had a piano, they say, is the piano included? So then I usually ask, do you play the piano? And they say, no. Well, what does it matter then? All right. Or the pool table. People always ask, is the pool table included? Okay. And I always tell them, if you want, we can ask for it. Okay. If you want, we can ask for the pool table. We can ask for the piano. I do play the piano, so I do like to ask them, hey, do you play? And then they always say no, and whatever. I want a piano. Alan plays the piano also. Excellent, excellent. Earnest money, the deposit. Typically we want to ask for 2 to 3% of the deposit, 2 to 3% of the purchase price to be included as a deposit. Sometimes they're going to make the deposit, and then we can ask for the seller may want a second deposit. I'll usually do a second deposit after the inspection period. And I believe on the one I did with Alan's mom, I did put a second deposit. I believe there was a second deposit on there because she wanted that added extra security as well. Okay.
Can I ask a question about the deposits?
Sure.
Is it necessary to do a second deposit, or is it fine to just do one initial deposit? I know it's got the 2 different lines, but.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, I'm putting just one deposit.
Okay.
All right, 9 times out of 10, I'm putting one deposit. If I find out that the seller is really looking for extra security, that added peace of mind, I'll put that second deposit after the inspection period. The deposit is still, as long as you're doing everything through the inspection period and so forth, and you're hitting all those deadlines, your client's deposit is still going to be protected. Whether it's 1 deposit or 2 deposit, it really doesn't matter. 9 times out of 10, I'm just putting a single deposit. All right. Would you split the original deposit in half? Again, I've done things where I've made offers before where I put in $3,000 initially, and then $15,000 or $10,000 on the second deposit. Okay, so it completely goes up to it's completely up to your seller's situation and the buyer's situation and what they're prepared to do. But generally, if someone's buying a $400,000 house and you want the deposit to be something where it'd be painful for them to lose, all right? If someone's buying a $400,000 house and they say I only want to put down $1,000 deposit, it sucks losing $1,000. But that's not very painful in the big scheme of things. Now, when they turn around and say, I want to put a $10,000 deposit, that hurts to lose. And if a client knows that they're risking $10,000 or 2 to 3% of the purchase price deposit, they're going to make sure that they're hitting those deadlines and watching out for those deadlines. So 2 to 3% is pretty standard, is pretty normal. Time for seller acceptance. This is always a big one. I don't allow the seller more than 48 hours to stew on my to steal my offer. And that's one of two reasons. One, I don't want them the biggest reason, I don't want them shopping my offer around to other agents. I don't want them to call up other agents to say, hey, look, we just received an offer for $350. This, we're going to accept this. Do you want to, drive up the price at $360, $355 or whatever? I don't want people doing that. So I give them 45 days. Now, if I'm making a really, really, really solid offer, and I'm making a very aggressive offer, I might just give them 24 hours. In fact, I might even just turn around and say, you have the next day at 4 o'clock to make a decision. You have tomorrow until noon to decide what you're going to do. All right. And by doing that, you're really putting their foot to the fire and having them make a decision quickly. The only time I do that is if it's a really aggressive offer. So let me see, before I go into, okay, I'm going to go through the rest of this checklist, and then I'm going to explain an escalation clause, which we don't discuss in this class. All right. But I'm going to put in an escalation clause that I love doing in my buyer contracts. And I think every time I've used it, I think I've won the contract, but I'll explain that in a second. And if I forget to discuss the escalation clause, just shoot a thing in the reminder just to say, hey, John, escalation clause. All right. So time for seller acceptance. Financing terms. You're putting in your financing terms, FHA, VA, conventional, cash, whatever it is. But also remember, one of the things that the seller is looking for is, even if it's like a 45 to 60 day out, I'm actually going to write down that escalation clause so I don't forget. All right. Even if the client's going to close 60 days out, the seller may not want to wait 45 days to find out that you didn't get accepted for a loan. Okay. So what I'll typically do is do anywhere between 20 to 30 days, usually no more than 30 days for the loan approval period, because like I said, the seller wants to make sure that if they go under contract, it's going to actually close. So 20 to 30 days is what I'll put there. The closing date. Don't just look in your calendar and say 40, hey Siri, what's 45 days out from today's date? Don't just do that. All right. Because you want to make sure that the date makes sense for you, makes sense for your client, makes sense for the other party. You never want to have I shouldn't say you never want to. Neither does title companies. I don't like having closings happen on Fridays. I don't like having closings happen on the last day of the month. I don't like having closings happen the day before a holiday. And the reason is in case they get backed up, in case something happens and they can't fund the money on a Friday, all right, that money isn't going to get transferred in until the next business day. And I'll give you the real world example. When I sold my first home, it was on a Friday. The buyer couldn't get to sign the documents until like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which means I couldn't get my money until Monday. However, Monday was Columbus Day and the banks were closed. I couldn't get my money until Tuesday. Now, that kind of really put a damper in my situation because I had another house I needed to purchase. Had I paid attention to knowing that it was a Friday and knowing what I know now, I probably would have made my closing happen on a Thursday, even just the day before, just because that could have avoided that problem. All right. Also know the last day of the month, you're going to have every agent and every title company is going to try to close in before April 30th or 31st or whatever the last day of the month is. So you don't want to be competing with all them, because then their title company is going to be rushing through the transaction as well. All right. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays usually work best for closings. Alan says no Mondays or Fridays. Absolutely, I agree. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays are always the best days because it's in the middle of the week. You have an extra business day before or after in case anything changes. In Florida, home warranties are not a standard part of the contract. Okay, I know in other states, it's customary that the seller will pay for a home warranty for the client, for the buyer. Not necessarily in Florida, and I like to still make that a part of my negotiation. Anytime I'm doing my negotiation for the inspections, I love asking for a home warranty. If for some reason you don't get a home warranty part of the negotiation, make that part of your closing gift. Give them a home warranty for the first year. You can always let them know, hey, you know what, I'll take care of your home warranty for the first year. That way you can move in, not worry about the air conditioning dying on you a week after you move in, the refrigerator, you know, crapping out on you right after you move in. Make it a closing gift. All right, when you make it a closing gift, all of a sudden, that's tax deductible as well.
What's a like ballpark on a home warranty?
Anywhere between $250 to $350.
Okay.
Right? Anywhere between $250 to $350. You know, if I'm asking for home warranty, I'm going to go and make sure that the home warranty is one that's going to cover everything, that there's no deductible, and so forth. But you know, each home warranty company does different levels. All right, but it's
so when
if anything, it's peace of mind for them.
Yeah. So when you're negotiating that, are you saying you want a home warranty that includes XYZ, or are you saying I want a home warranty from such and such company? Like, how do you, I guess, phrase that?
I've done both. Actually, I'm trying to see if I could pull out a home warranty form that I have right over here. This is with Home Warranty of America. And what I'll actually do is take I might actually just take a picture of the schedule of the cost and just say, this is what we want. You can either give us the $450 or $350, or you can purchase it through here, right? Or you can get your own, but I want to make sure it's no deductible or anything like that. So yeah, okay. I like to give them the information and use one that I like. Personally, I prefer to just get the cash, all right? Give my client the cash and have them select the home warranty that they want, all right, through a company that they want. Okay. Cover letter. I'm going to talk about a cover letter in a couple moments. All right. Special clauses or contingencies. The property, you know, the property is contingent upon the sale. This offer is contingent upon the sale of my other house. In which case, you want to just redact the name and the price of the buyer and on the existing offer, but you want to attach that as well. Okay. So if you're doing a contingency on selling this other property, selling the buyer's other property, you want to attach that as well so that the seller will know, okay, this home is already under contract. This is, it's moving forward. In a seller's market, it's very difficult to write an offer with a contingency to sell the property because it's not, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not an attractive offer. What you're doing is, I actually work for Cinch as a customer service agent. Excellent. Yes, I like Cinch. All right, I like Cinch Home Warranties. Threw me off. What was I about to say? Oh yeah, it's not an attractive offer. All right. What you're actually doing, you're actually bringing another party into the transaction. So the negotiation is no longer with just the buyer and the seller. Now it's with the buyer, the seller, the buyer of the other property, their lender, their seller. You know, it becomes sticky. Okay. Just know that anytime you attach a contingency to sell the buyer's property, it's not a very attractive offer. Now, if everything is already passed, they're already out of their inspection period, they're out of their loan approval period, and they're just waiting to close in 10 more days, hey, cool, that deal, as far as I'm concerned, is just about done. That money's in the bank for the other party, okay? And if you receive that, you still want to vet that offer as the best that you can as well, okay? Any questions before I go on to the escalation clause? Awesome. Just know that it's the price. The price is a big part of the writing the contract, and it's not the only part. All right. And you know, I tell my sellers and I tell my buyers, the highest price isn't always the best offer. All right. It's a mix of offer and terms. And when you're writing an offer, think in that same situation. It's a mix between offer and terms. And what's going to match, will make your buyer feel comfortable, and what the seller is looking to make happen. Okay, escalation clause. It's not in here, but I do want to discuss the escalation clause because it's one of my favorite things when I'm writing. One of my favorite tools in my back pocket when I'm writing an offer. So what an escalation clause is on paragraph 20, which is the additional terms in the contract. I will write in there a lot of times, obviously with the buyer's consent, but I'll write in there that the buyer agrees to pay $1,000 over the next highest bona fide offer, up to a maximum of whatever number you want to make that that highest number, whatever you want it to top out at. All right. So buyer agrees to pay $1,000 over the next highest bona fide offer. Why do you think I like to include that?
I think that would keep them accountable and to see how interested they are in buying this property. You know, like, hey, wait a minute, you're talking about from
the buyer's perspective.
From the buyer's perspective, yes. So basically, if you're really interested in buying this house, then we're gonna make it happen. You know, don't just give up because someone just put a higher bid, you know, on the home. So I guess this is a way of making sure if you want this house, we're gonna get this house. You know, that's how I'm seeing it.
That's exactly what it is. If you want the house, we're gonna get this house. You think about it. If I write into my offer that I am willing to pay $1,000 higher than any other offer that you have on the table, you're gonna win that offer. All right. Obviously, if price is what the seller's looking for, but you're gonna win that offer. So let's give an example. Let's say the asking price is $300,000. Asking price is $300,000. I might write an offer in for $295 plus $1,000 over any highest competing offer, up to a maximum of $308. Okay, so if I even if the seller receives a full price offer at $300,000, I'm now $1,000. The offer is automatically gonna change to $301,000, and I'm now winning that offer. Now, someone else, you know, let's say you receive an offer of $305,000 on a $300,000 sale. My offer is going to be bumped up, escalated to $306,000. Let's say they receive a competing offer of $310,000. Well, you know what? We had it as a maximum of $308,000. But what I like about escalation clauses is it guarantees that you're going to get the highest price up to that certain point. Paige asks, does an escalation clause tip the buyer's hand how much they're actually willing to pay? Won't that make a seller stand firm on the escalation clause cap amount? I don't know if I understand the question.
If they're
In
aware.
other words, like if their offer is 300 and they're willing to pay $1,000 more than the highest offer, up to 325, won't the seller come back and say, no, but 325? Let's just do 325.
Possible. All right, possible. And your offer wasn't 325. All right, that was your max. That was your max bid, and you can always counter back with, no, I don't want to do 325. I'm going to do 315. All right, you're giving a maximum. All right, I don't think you're necessarily giving away everything that your buyer has in their back pocket. In fact, and I'll be 100% honest with you. Out of all the times I've written in an escalation clause, it has never hit the maximum that I put in. It's just never happened. All right. I've never had a competing offer come in and actually hit that maximum cap. So, you know, if I didn't have to put in a max number, I wouldn't.
John, can I say something? Hi, it's Victoria.
Hey, Victoria.
So usually an escalation clause is also put in, and John can confirm this, is when a buyer is fairly confident that there's also multiple offers. It's not just put in, you know, just on the saying that they're putting in an offer and it's the first offer and they have no indication that there is multiple offers in there. It's very important to understand, yes, it is, you know, they are revealing their hand. There is less negotiating power at that point, and there's that confident factor. And that's why John is mentioning the fact that they haven't ever reached, you know, that high point because of the offers coming in. They've never reached that high point.
Yeah. And, you know, a buyer, a seller will look at it as, wow, this buyer is really, really serious. All right. This buyer is really, really serious. They want this house. And no one else is going to be able to beat this offer. Mr. Buyer, Mr. Seller, are you okay with this price? Yeah, let's go ahead and accept this now. All right. Because no one else is going to be able to beat it. Okay. Now, I've been in open houses before. And, you know, some of you guys may have as well. I've been to open houses before where there's a line out the front door of people about to walk into the house. And it's like, oh my gosh, Mr. Buyer, Mrs. Buyer, this house is not going to last. It truly is not going to last. Just looking at the amount of activity we've had. This is a brand new property that just hit the market. Victoria, you're 100% right. This isn't something you do on every single offer. This is one that you know when there's multiple offers or it's going to be very highly competitive. Right? So,
John, Carrie Eubanks just asked a question. Is there a requirement for the seller's agent to include the other offers that drove your buyer's offer up, which puts the escalation clause into effect? Well, you're allowed to know if there's other offers. You just can't know the details of their offers. So it's a matter of, that's where the escalation clause kind of puts in. You're allowed to know, are there other offers? Am I being, you know, knowing the urgency of what your offer means to knowing whether you should put the escalation clause in.
Yeah. And one of the things I actually write into the contract, yes, to Alan and to Carol's question. One of the things I'll actually write in there is it has to be a bona fide offer. That doesn't mean that if I say $295 and then the seller's next sister turns around and says, okay, well, let's do $305, right? No, I want to see a bona fide offer, right? And you can redact the name, all right? I want to see the price of that home. I want to see an actual offer, right? And yes, you can redact the name because I don't care about the name. I do want to see another offer because it has to be bona fide, right? So if the sister comes in and says, yes, I want it to do it at $305, well, she better be prepared to actually purchase the house and write an offer.
So Alan asks, do they have to show the offer, meaning price and terms, like actually show you like a contract?
Yeah, I usually ask them to. If they're going to drive up the price, I want to see it. All right, and I write that into the contract. You know, now, however, another thing I do with that, and I guess one of the reasons why I've never really had to bump up that price, bump up the price too much on an escalation, is because I know this is such an aggressive offer, and I do not want to the seller to shop this around. I'm going to say that this has to be answered by tomorrow at noon. Okay, make a decision. You have 24 hours, you have 12 hours, you have 18, whatever. Make a decision. I want to have a response tomorrow by noon. The escalation clause falls off at tomorrow at noon. All right.
And to John's point, remember, of the contract in the standards, letter F, time is of the essence. The contract states that time is always of the essence, and that's the body of the contract that you are enforcing. So if they give you a hard time about that, understand you're just enforcing what the contract stipulates.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So Alan's saying, what if the sister does write up a legitimate offer? Can the buyer back out? So if they choose, yeah, technically they can. Yep. If it's not accepted, they can always withdraw their offer. All right. And even still, they're still within the inspection period. But yeah, it's kind of dirty if that's what they're doing. All right. And there are still some unscrupulous people out there that, you know, might actually do that. Like I said, very, very rarely have I ever had to bump up the price on an escalation clause, and I've never hit the max. Okay. Very rarely, just because the sellers know, I don't want to play with too much fire by playing games with this guy, right? And I only have till 12 o'clock tomorrow in order to get this offer accepted. All right. So that's why I like doing the escalation clause in special terms. If I go to the open house and there's a line going out the door and I'm writing an offer on the hood of my car, yeah, you best believe I'm going to put in the escalation clause right then and there. But it's a very powerful tool, all right, to have in your back pocket when you're writing an offer, when you know that there's going to be a lot of competition or very competitive.
For everything, just if there's a lot of competition.
Right. Exactly. Someone write the verbiage on the clause in here, please. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and write that in. I'll go ahead and write that in here in a little bit, or actually probably towards the end, because it could be a little wordy. But I'll go ahead and put that in there. All right. Paige, you had one more question you were about to ask.
So the escalation clause, does that right of the seller end at a certain time, or can they show up with a new offer the day before closing?
Nope. That is up until they accept the price.
Up until they.
Up until they accept the offer. So.
Oh, and then once you're in the contract, that's it. Nobody can
Yep.
come along and kick
Exactly.
you out.
Exactly. Okay. You accepted 301. All right. That's what it is. I don't care if you get an offer for 325 the next day. All right. We're under contract for 301. All right. Now, one last thing I failed to mention on here. Whenever I bring up the escalation clause to a seller, to a buyer, they almost go into panic mode saying, are you crazy? Why would I pay more than what the house is actually worth, what the house is actually valued at? All right. I don't want to overpay for a house. What if we drive the price up? And my answer is kind of, I really don't care about driving the price up, because that's not the price that you're going to be purchasing the home for. That's to win the contract. They still have to pass an appraisal. Okay. It still has to pass an appraisal. So let's say you don't put a cap. All right. Asking price is 300 and you write an offer 295 with an escalation clause, and then they get a 320 offer. Well, now your offer is technically 320, 326 or whatever that number is. All right. However, if it appraises at 326, well, then you purchased the house for what the house is actually worth, what the house is actually valued at. However, if it appraises for 305, guess what? The deal's either off or we renegotiate that price after. All right. So every time that I've brought up the escalation clause to a client and they kind of go into panic mode, and they all have the same face. It's a deer in the headlights look. Like, are you crazy? Why would I do that? Right. The thing to put them back at ease is letting them know that we still have the appraisal. We still have to get to match the appraisal, or have to pass the test of an appraisal in order to purchase the property, especially if it's financing. All right. But do some more research on the escalation clause. It is a very powerful tool if used properly. A very powerful tool. When a seller receives that, they're just like, oh my God, this person is serious and no one else can beat this offer. John wants this house. All right. And if John wants this house, John's gonna get that house anyway. We're gonna make sure that it happens somehow. All right. But do some homework on the escalation clause. Like I said, it's a great tool to have. All right. All right, awesome. So we spoke about command. We spoke about some of the things, the terms. Remember, I said it's the price, but the price is important on the contract, on the offer, and it's not the only thing. Okay, so we talked about those terms as well. Any questions before I go over some of these offer writing guidelines? Anything else? Any other questions? No? Awesome. Excellent. Let me just check one more thing. Writing offers. Okay, nope, we're going to go back to this then.
John, really quick, did you go over about contingency of sale, or are you going to do that later?
We did.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we went over contingency, Also, you brought up contingencies. We talked about that one, of sale of buyer's property. Just so you know as well, the more contingencies that you put into a contract, all right, yes, you're protecting your client. However, the more contingencies and outs that you're putting into the contract, the less attractive your offer is. Okay. Remember, we believe in KW, it's win-win or no deal. All right. And if you're only protecting your client, which as a single agent, you have to, all right. We are acting as a single agent, we are acting as a fiduciary, but it has to be win-win or no deal. And if everything is protecting one side, that's win-lose. All right. So just know that the more contingencies that you attach to an offer, the less attractive it is. Okay. I'm not saying, give the world away. If you're writing all these offers that have 50 different contingencies and you're wondering why none of them are getting accepted, that might be one of the reasons. All right. All right, awesome. In the participant guide, there is offer writing guidelines. Let me see if I can attach the participant guide in here for you very quickly. This is Elemental 6 participant guide. Cool. So I'm putting that in here as well. The participant guide is in there, and on page 6 of that, is it page 6? Yeah, on page 6 of the participant guide is offer writing guidelines, and this is some of the things that we'll discuss now. Ensure that your buyers know that all checks, your earnest money deposits and everything, are expected when the offer is written, and will be deposited upon acceptance. All right. I tell my clients in most of my contracts, it says that the deposit will be made within 3 days, all right, of accepting the offer. A lot of the time, I'll just tell the contract, if I'm doing face-to-face, write a check, give it to me. I'm going to send this in once this offer is deposited. Once the offer is accepted, then I'm going to go ahead and submit this check. Or I might say, I'm going to put you in touch with our lender or our title company, and you'll wire money in on that second or third day. All right, and don't have them wait till that third day. All right, because something might happen, money might not be there, and then all of a sudden, if they wait till the fourth day, technically they're already going to be in default of that contract. So I like to let them know right up front, all the checks and all the earnest money is due now. Give it to us now, and then once the offer is accepted, we're going to deposit everything. Okay. Let's see here. We'll talk about a cover letter in a moment, so we're going to skip that. But a good cover letter will actually summarize the offer, some brief bullet points, and it also humanizes the offer. One of the worst things I hate is when I receive a text message said offer sent, and then I'm like, I don't know anything about this person, this whatever, and then or sometimes they don't even call me at all, and I just get an offer in my email box, and that's fine because I'm getting an offer, and to me it's just numbers at that point. Okay, so when you're writing offers, try to humanize that letter, and I'll show you an example of a cover letter that I've used that really works a lot also. Let's see, create a buying opportunity and offer in command. We spoke about command already. Okay, let's go into that cover letter. All right, so this is a cover letter that you should, something along these lines. You don't necessarily have to use this, but attach, don't just send just an offer blindly. All right, I like to attach a cover letter, tell a little bit about the client, say, this is my client, Lauren. Her and her husband are relocating down from California. They saw the home, they really like the home. They're excited to call this place home. Laura's husband is a military veteran. They're using a VA loan for blah, 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 blah. And I'm just highlighting some of the bullet points of there. I'm looking forward to working with you to bring this to a successful close and help your clients and my clients achieve their goals. Something along those lines, but just have a cover letter. Okay. Now I want to show you, let's see if I go over here. Nope, I'll skip that. I want to show you a cover letter that I used several times actually. All right, this is something that I've used before. I asked my client, all right, they're first-time home buyers, and I asked them, I want you to write a letter to the sellers. Write a letter to the sellers and tell them about yourselves and really tug on the heartstrings. Okay, so her and her boyfriend, she recently turned 20, they're 22, they lived together for 2 years, they're looking to start their family. They immediately could see themselves living there. They went to this, they did that, they did this and that. And then they even put a nice little picture of them, right? Now, what this letter does is just, it appeals to the person's emotions, to the seller's emotion, all right? The seller may end up accepting a lower price or an offer that's not as favorable. And I don't want to say it. They may just accept this just because they're like, oh, they're so cute. Look, it's a really nice couple. I'm glad that this house is going to be going to a good family. Oh, it's a young couple. They may turn around and says, oh my gosh, she got an MBA at Lynn University. I also went to Lynn University and got an MBA from there. Also, I like this person. Let me do business with them. Let's sell them the house. It's kind of a little it's a tactic. That's what it is, right? Remember, logic makes you think, and offer is very logical. Where emotion makes you act. When you see a picture like this, it becomes a little bit, it starts to tug in their heartstrings and makes it more emotional. I tell them, hey, write a letter about your and put a picture with you and your dog and your kids and everything. Talk about how you can imagine your kids running around the backyard and blah 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 blah. Sometimes if they don't have a letter, write a letter for them. You know what I mean? Get like 2 or 3 templates and just say, hey, insert your family into this letter, whatever. But, make this part of the cover letter. All right. Now, when I'm the seller and I'm receiving seller offers and I see that, I actually take that page personally. I take that page and I put this at the very end because I don't want my sellers to be steered by something like this. All right. I want them to make an educated guess, not based on the fact that they went to Lynn University and they like this young couple. All right. Can I see the value in having the buyer write a letter? It's powerful. All right, it's powerful, and I tell my clients, hey, make it as cheesy as you want to. All right, make it as cheesy as you want, and this is you walked in and immediately knew that this is your forever home. Or whatever. But yeah, I tell them write a letter, and I'm going to attach that as to the offer. And if they don't want to, not a problem. I'm still going to attach my own cover letter where I'm speaking on their behalf. Okay. Like I said, again, it humanizes the offer, and we're going to appeal to the person's emotions. Okay, so here's some, so a lot of times you're going to get objections from your buyers in writing an offer. Remember, we talked about some of those emotions that a buyer is feeling. First of all, they kind of get into deer in the headlights mode or panic mode when they're like, oh my God, is this really happening? Right? Or they might turn around and say, I don't want to overpay for this house. Or what if this isn't not everything is perfect in this house, and things aren't perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect house. Okay. So they're going to give you objections. If you do a solid buyer's consultation, like we learned last week, and if you teach people how to treat you. And if you prepare your clients to, when we look at a house, I'm going to ask you, do you want to buy this house? And if you want to buy this house, we're going to write an offer. And you let them know about things like the inspection period or the time where they can back out of the deal if they don't like it. Okay, they're going to feel more comfortable about writing the offer and actually, writing an offer. If you don't have those conversations, buyers are going to be scared to write offers. Okay, they're going to be afraid to. They're all happy until you put the pen in their hand and say, all right, cool, let's sign this. All right. Sometimes buyers are going to want to ask in advance that the sellers make repairs. They'll put that in their offer. All right. Or they might want to make a very low offer right out of the gate. All right. And when they do that, because they watch too much HGTV and they think that they can make an offer 75% of market value. All right. Because that's just what you do in negotiation. No, it doesn't work like that. All right. But when they do, remember, we're educating our clients, but we're also acting as coaching our clients as well. So that's fine, Mr. Seller. If you do want to write that offer of $275 on a $310,000 house, that's fine. However, these are the repercussions that you might encounter by making a lowball offer. Okay. So there's actually a couple scripts, and I want someone to read these one of these 2 scripts. So if I can get someone to read this first script right over here. Now, this is in the Elementals Toolkit, which I'll also include in the. Alan can't read it. You can type it all out again.
Fast.
You can type it all out again. But, all right. So if the buyer wants a seller to make repairs, can I have someone read this objection handler?
Okay, I could do it. When the buyer wants to sell. Buyer's name. Mr. Buyer, until you have a physical inspection, we will not know how much these items will cost. And we could find additional repairs we may want to negotiate. Consequently, you have three choices. Read the choices. You can offer the seller less money now to compensate for these items. 2, you can ask the seller now for a credit to repair these items using your own contractor. Or 3, or I usually advise clients to wait for the physical inspection and negotiate all repaired items at one time. How would you like me to negotiate this offer on your behalf?
Yeah, so you're really, and I love that last question. How would you like me to negotiate this on your behalf? What do you want to do? You're giving them options of what they can do. When they come in and say, I want this repaired, I want this repaired, I want this repaired, I want this repaired, just remember that you're taking away from your negotiation power, your leverage power during the actual, during the inspection period after you get the inspection. Now, if it's something major, all right, that's a different story. So when I say something major, let's say it's the roof is obviously completely shot. All right, you can see that there's visible damage of the roof. You can either make adjust the price. All right, instead of making a $300,000 offer, you might make a $290,000 offer, and just explain that to the other seller, to the seller's agent. You know, we want to make an offer at $300,000. We're deducting $10,000 for the roof, right? Or you can, like I said, wait till the inspection report to renegotiate at that time. All right. Now the problem with that is, if I say let's just take off $10,000, and then I start going out and getting quotes, and I find out that the roof is actually going to cost us $15,000 to $18,000, well then I kind of shot myself in the foot and left $8,000 on the table. All right. I try not to do any inspection requests until I have an inspection report in. All right. But what you're doing here is you're giving the client options, and you're actually giving your client options here at the same time. If your seller wants to make that lowball offer, because on Beachfront Bargain Hunt, that's exactly what they saw on HGTV. That's exactly what they did. They made a super lowball offer, and we can always offer here, and then we'll meet in the middle. Okay. So if they ask, want to make a lowball offer, if I can have someone read this script right here, please.
All right, I'll do it. When the buyer wants to make a low offer, Mr. Buyer, there are 3 ways to negotiate a transaction. You can make a low offer and run the risk of the seller rejecting it or count. I just lost it.
I lost. That's my fault. And there it is.
Okay. You can make a low offer and run the risk of the seller rejecting it or countering back at full price to compensate. Or you can make an offer closer to the asking price and be less flexible if there's a counter offer. Or if you really want this home and are concerned that another buyer may purchase it, you can make a full price offer and give the seller what they want. It's your choice. How would you like me to negotiate this offer?
So I once had a house over in Pompano. It was listed for $600,000, and I received an offer for $430,000. Yeah. So I actually called the agent and I said, hey, I received your offer. Thank you. First of all, you always want to thank them for writing an offer. Thank you very much for writing an offer. I saw your offer was for $430,000. Did you mean $530,000? Right? And she said, no, we want $430,000. I said, okay, great. It was an insulting offer, obviously, to the seller. And she's like, well, no, I'm not doing that. Let's reject it altogether. And I said, no, let's counter. And we're going to counter back at $600,000. That's what I did. I actually countered back at a full price offer. All right. They actually ended up coming up to $525,000. Funny how that worked. They actually ended up coming back at $525,000, and my seller still wasn't happy with that, so she didn't accept it. All right. I've also seen other people, I'm not saying to do this, I've seen other people counter back at $620,000. All right. And they're like, you coming out with me with this silly offer, I'm going to give you back a silly counter offer. But that's playing games at that point, you know. But yeah, there are 3 different things they can do. They run the risk of the offer getting rejected altogether and not coming back with a counter offer. And I tell them, when a buyer says, hey, they can always counter back. And I tell them they don't always have to counter an offer. They can just say, nope, I don't want it. And then you completely lost that opportunity to be in competition for that house.
So John, it's funny that you were talking about buyers and low offers, and I worked with a lot of buyers before I got into coaching. And it's funny because buyers who like to make a lot of low offers are sort of like sellers who want to price their house high and then just see what comes in, and then they'll just reduce later. And they set them in that I call it the baseball diamond field, where they're like outside the market. They're not even in the playing field. And if you want to kind of move them into the game, you want to get in the game. And I think what's the hard is their mindset, and it's up to us to show them the market and get that counter. And it all comes down to where you are still into that inspection period. You're still into getting the house evaluated, because regardless, it has to come down to the market price. Doesn't matter what a buyer wants, doesn't matter what a seller wants. It's the market price, and it's determined how the market is selling. And I think when you get them out of their, like, it's what I want to pay for, it's what I want to sell it for, it's a matter of understanding, and it's our job during that qualification process to get their mindset in the game. So I love that whole kind of conversation about, let's just get a counter, let's get the ball rolling, right?
Yep. And you teach people how to treat you. And if you're doing a solid buyer's consultation, you turn around and one of the quick things I like to do is I like to find out their price range, and then I'll go onto the MLS and I'll tell them, I'll show them, I said, Mr. Seller, just so you know, in this price range in the city that you're looking at, homes are selling on average about 97% of market price, or 96% of market price. The days of the 20% below market value lowball offers, those are gone. So that means if we find a house that's $300,000, those are selling for about $290,000 on average. Okay, we're only about a 3 to 5% margin of error there. Are you okay with that? Or and they might turn around and say, wow, 200, I thought I'd be able to get a better deal. Well, I'm not saying that you're not going to get a better deal, but on average, all right, that's what we're seeing, all right? And I told them straight up from the very beginning, the days of the 20% below market value, that's over. That's not happening right now. Maybe in a couple months, maybe in a couple years, it's not right now, all right? So, teach people how to treat you, and, have that conversation up front. There were a couple questions that's in here. How many times can you place an offer on the same house? Until it gets accepted. All right. Remember I said if the offer gets rejected, don't assume no always means no. Find out exactly how come the offer was accepted. They wanted more money. They wanted better terms. Not a problem. I'd write another offer. All right. I want to get under contract with that. Alan says, especially now, because buyers feel that they can lowball everything because of COVID. Oh, absolutely. And we're seeing buyers and sellers trying to either not perform the contract because of coronavirus. And they're like, well, I couldn't close because of coronavirus. Well, do you have coronavirus? Right? No. Is there a reason why you cannot close? Well, no, I just don't want to leave the house. Great, because we're actually allowing mobile notaries now. All right.
Yeah.
And we can find a way to make this happen. Oh, no, I don't want to. I'm working with another guy right now who wants to go into mediation because he decided to cancel his contract a week before closing. And now the seller wants to keep his deposit. And he's like, no, I'm going to go to mediation. Well, you're canceling because you just don't want to leave your house. That's not a real reason for you not to perform that contract. All right. Let's see, not only does a lowball offer like that offend the seller, it also damages the image of the agent. Absolutely. There are a couple agents out there that I know that when I get an offer, I'm just like, okay, this guy, this is not going to be a real offer. This is one of his, let's throw as much what to the wall and see what sticks. Okay. Also, when you first go
for a terrible transaction for the next 30 to 45 days with that.
Yeah, absolutely. When I get those initial investor, usually as soon as you go online, you have an investor that's going to throw out a really, really low offer. And 9 times out of 10, most people will ignore them, right? What I do is I actually will reach out to them and say, look, that number is obviously well below what my client is looking for. Are you an investor? Yes. Well, can I add you to my list of investors that so-and-so if I find a deal that comes up? And now I have another contact that I could put into my database. I actually created in my contacts a tag that says investors, and I get a new listing that needs to be fixed up, or even if I come across one out in the MLS, I might send them just to my list of investors.
So, and let me just touch upon this. So, my MAPS coach always says, stay in curiosity. So when you have a fiduciary relationship with your client, you know, in that fiduciary relationship, you're doing, you know, whatever that client tells you to do, right? When they're asking you to make that offer, you're making that offer. So I had that happen where I had a listing, 1.4 million, and someone came in and made a $1 million offer. So my first reaction was, oh man, are you kidding me, right? Went to my broker and he was like, well, you got an offer, right? So I could have blown up at that agent like, what, are you kidding? You're sending me this offer? Stay in curiosity, guys, because the other agent is just doing their job.
Mm-hmm.
So the way to approach it is out of curiosity, like how must they be feeling that their client is, they are maybe having difficulty getting that client to the right place. Remember, they are constituents. They are our partners to get that other client there too. So the approach could be, thank you so much. I know this must be difficult for you to be putting this offer in possibly, right? You know, they might be having a difficult time. And in essence, that person was, and, you know, there could be a counter. The client that I was representing, we did counter and helping that other agent out. It's not always easy being on the other side, right? Mm-hmm. Just always stay in curiosity in terms of how you can communicate with that agent instead of maybe having the adversity.
Mm-hmm. Dina asks, do I ever recommend a seller to get an appraisal before they list the house? I only ask, well, I shouldn't say I only ask. When I'm in doubt and there's not a lot of specific comps that will actually truly justify a price, at that point I've actually said, yeah, let's get an appraisal. In fact, that $600,000 house that I had, there were no homes that were like that in the area, and nothing was selling like that, and we did just that. We said, let's get an appraisal, we'll price it at the appraised price, and we'll move forward from there, okay? Sometimes if I have a client that thinks their house is over here, when I'm saying that their house is probably over here, I'll tell them also, fine, let's go ahead and just get an appraisal. And something I've actually done before, I've said this before and I've done it before, is fine, how about this? Let's go ahead and get an appraisal, okay? You pay for the appraisal. The appraisal will come out, they'll tell us what the house is, we'll price it at that point. And if we price it at that point, I'll reimburse you for that appraisal at closing, okay? Ray is not on this call. Ray Murato, she once did that, except she paid for the appraisal up front, and then the guy canceled the listing, okay? And she ended up having to eat that cost because she didn't have it in agreement originally with the seller that they will, that they're gonna pay for it first and be reimbursed. All right, so she ended up eating that cost, and that kind of sucked. All right, but yeah, I'll put in there saying, yeah, go ahead and you pay for the appraisal, and then we'll price it at that appraisal price, and yeah, I'll reimburse you at closing. All right, I think we have like, actually we're running at time right now, so I'm gonna kind of wrap this up in the next like 2 or 3 minutes because I have another call I need to jump on. All right, presenting the offer to the listing agent. Like we said before, don't just blind send it to them, all right? I like to call them up and just let them know, hey, Victoria, I just want to let you know, my client really enjoyed that property. I just submitted an offer. You should have it in your mailbox as we speak. I'm really looking forward to working with you. You know, we did put a deadline of tomorrow at 4 o'clock. So if you can have your client get back to us as quickly as possible, that'd be greatly appreciated. Let me know if your client has any questions at all about the offer. All right. You're establishing a good rapport. Show the other agent, show the co-op agent that you want to be the person that people like doing business with. All right. Working with John is going to be an easy transaction. Things are going to be great working with John just because he was nice when he made the telephone calls to me. Okay. Believe it or not, little things like that will go a long way. Alan asked, how about a pre-inspection? I've also offered pre-inspections as well. Max Home Inspection has a good pre-inspection policy, a good pre-inspection program that you could look in as well. That way, you know, you do a pre-inspection, you give them the report and say, hey, fix up all these little things. Okay, so pre-inspections are awesome. Alan says he uses them all the time. Absolutely, I agree. I said Max Home Inspections, that's who it was, Griselda. All right. Another question is, how about backup offers? What about accepted backup offers? Do they automatically move to first position when the original deal falls apart? If it's signed and they say that this does go into first place, then it does go into first position at that point, yes. All right. We actually talked about presenting the offer already. And we also kind of talked about this. When you're representing the seller and you receive an offer, remember, don't always reject the offer. In fact, I tell my clients to never reject offers. I say, you know, send us offers, and if we get good offers, great, let's accept it. If we get not so great offers, let's counter back. Okay, and by countering back, we still have an offer on the table. All right, just remember the goal with any offer is to come to an agreement that's going to be a win-win for both parties. If both parties are satisfied, that's a win for us. All right, I attached in the chat box the script book for elementals, and there's some really good scripts in here as well. Oh, my dog's barking. Amazon. But there's actually some really good scripts in here as well for in the elemental script book of what you can say as well. All right, let's see. And we kind of already talked about this, notifying the seller, presenting the offer, and making the decision. And yeah, and in response to the offer, like I said, always, you know, just use tact. Don't you know, remove yourself from the your emotions from the counter offers or the back and forth negotiation. You know, if you received an offer that is too low, you know, you can always go back and say, hey, thank you very much for your offer. The price was a little bit lower than what my seller was willing to accept. We feel that an offer at blank might be better, or we don't like the 45-day inspection, 45-day inspection period. Oh my God. We don't want the 45-day loan approval period. Maybe we could just change that to 30 days and we could probably make something happen from there. All right. Use tact. Be the person that people will want to do business with. All right. And everything else really is going to be covered tomorrow in negotiation class. Okay, class is all about negotiations, and I know we kind of already started. We already started talking about some of the negotiations and everything today, but tomorrow there's going to be a whole day or a whole hour and a half, chock full of nothing but negotiation stuff. All right, give me 3 quick ahas, and then we're going to wrap up. What did you learn today?
Never to reject any offer, but to always learn how to renegotiate. So I like that because it's like you always have that backup plan. The contingency plan is always there no matter what.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Never reject an offer. I never reject offers unless it's really, really bad and then it's just something completely unrealistic. No, but most of the time I'm always going to counter back. Even if you counter back at a full price offer, trust me, it shows confidence when you counter back with a full price offer.
I'm using the escalation clause.
Oh, love it. Love it. Try it. Go online and research the best escalation clause best practices. It's very powerful. It really is very powerful, especially if you know you have multiple offers. There's a bunch of people, you know, there's gonna be high stakes, high competition. Absolutely. Awesome. Give me one more.
To connect with
I like when you talk about if you're, oh, sorry, go ahead, Deanna.
No, that's all right. I was just going to say to connect with the listing agent. and to question what is important to the seller.
Yeah, don't be afraid to communicate with the other party. All right. In fact, it's encouraged. All right. Reach out to them and talk to them. Find out what's important to them. You might be surprised to find out that it's not just what the highest price is. Okay. So awesome.
That's really funny because that was mine.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much. You guys have been awesome today. I love the engagement in this call today. It is on Facebook. If you guys want to watch me talk for an hour and a half again, it's recorded on Facebook. And if not, we will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning.
Thank you, John.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Victoria, for reading.